The year is 1947. In the blistering heat of the Judean desert, a young Bedouin shepherd, searching for a lost goat, idly tosses a stone into the dark mouth of a cliffside cave. It's a simple, thoughtless act, one he's likely done 1,000 times before. But this time, something is different. Instead of the dull thud of stone on rock, a sharp, unexpected sound echoes back from the darkness. The distinct, unmistakable shatter of pottery. That single sound would bridge a gap of nearly 2,000 years. It was a sound that marked the end of a long, silent vigil kept by the driest, saltiest air on earth. Curiosity piqued, the shepherd, Muhammad ed-Dib, climbs into the cave. His eyes adjust to the gloom, and what he finds inside is not treasure in the conventional sense. No gold, no jewels. Instead, he finds rows of tall, cylindrical clay jars, many of them still sealed, lined up against the cave wall as if waiting for someone to return. Inside these jars, wrapped in ancient linen, are bundles of leather and papyrus. Brittle with age, they are covered in a strange, elegant script. He has no idea what he has found, but his discovery would soon ignite a firestorm of excitement, controversy, and revelation that would ripple across the globe. This was the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls, a vast and priceless library of secrets, sealed away while the Roman Empire was at its peak and Jesus of Nazareth walked the hills of Galilee. For 2 millennia, these texts held their breath, preserving a snapshot of a pivotal moment in human history. They contain the oldest known copies of the Hebrew Bible, alongside unknown psalms, prophecies, and detailed community rules that paint a vivid picture of a devout, mysterious Jewish sect awaiting the end of days. Their unearthing would challenge, and in some cases, confirm, our understanding of the foundations of both Judaism and Christianity. But their discovery also opened a floodgate of questions. Questions that scholars are still debating to this day. Who were the people who painstakingly wrote and hid these texts? Were they a monastic community of Essenes, a library rescued from the besieged temple in Jerusalem, or something else entirely? And what truths, what beliefs, were so vital that they chose to protect them in these caves, entrusting them to the darkness and the dust? In the stark, silent expanse of the Judean desert, near the shores of the Dead Sea, a discovery was made that would rewrite history. It began not in a lab, but with a shepherd's chance encounter in 1947. A stone tossed into a cliffside cave, the unexpected sound of shattering pottery, and a moment of curiosity that unveiled a secret hidden for 2 millennia. What lay inside those caves, nestled within the cliffs of Qumran, would soon captivate the world. Archaeologists, following the trail, began a systematic excavation, unearthing a treasure trove beyond their wildest imaginations. Inside 11 different caves, they uncovered a breathtaking collection of ancient parchment and papyrus, carefully sealed within tall clay jars. This wasn't just a handful of documents, it was a vast library. In total, more than 900 distinct manuscripts were recovered, representing an unparalleled window into a pivotal era of human faith and history. The sheer scale of the find was staggering. Among them were the oldest known copies of the Hebrew Bible, texts that were 1,000 years older than any previously known versions. But there was more. Alongside familiar biblical books like Isaiah and Deuteronomy, there were texts that had been completely lost to time. These included community rules, calendars, war manuals, and apocalyptic prophecies, offering a glimpse into the beliefs and daily life of a mysterious Jewish sect. The scrolls were meticulously written between approximately 150 BCE and 70 CE. Their remarkable survival is a miracle of circumstance, preserved by the desert's intensely dry, stable air and hidden away in darkness just before the Roman legions swept through Judea, effectively erasing their creators from the historical record. Unrolling these fragile fragments was like hearing whispers from the distant past. Their words spoke of divine law, messianic expectation, and the cosmic struggle between light and darkness. Yet, for all they revealed, the scrolls posed an even greater question. They were a library without a librarian, a story without a named author. Who were the people who dedicated their lives to writing, preserving, and ultimately hiding these sacred texts? And why did they vanish, leaving their priceless library behind? The origin of the Dead Sea Scrolls remained the central, tantalizing mystery. The discovery of the scrolls answered many questions, but it posed an even greater one. Who wrote them? Who were these dedicated scribes, toiling in the Judean desert, preserving a library of sacred knowledge as their world teetered on the brink of chaos? The answer remains one of history's most compelling debates, with two leading theories vying for prominence. The most widely accepted theory points to a secretive and devout Jewish sect known as the Essenes. This group is described by ancient historians like Pliny the Elder as having established a community near the Dead Sea, precisely where the scrolls were found. They had separated themselves from what they considered the corrupt society and temple practices in Jerusalem. Living a simple communal life, they dedicated themselves to ritual purity, study, and prayer. Proponents of this theory argue that the archaeological evidence at the Qumran settlement, the scriptorium where texts were likely copied, the numerous ritual baths, and the communal dining hall perfectly matches the Essenes' ascetic lifestyle. Their writings, like the Community Rule, outline a society obsessed with righteousness and preparing for a final, apocalyptic war between the sons of light and the sons of darkness. For them, this library wasn't just a collection of books, it was a spiritual arsenal for the end of days. But a compelling counterargument suggests a different origin. This theory proposes that the scrolls were not the work of a single, isolated sect, but were instead the collected libraries of various groups from Jerusalem, including temple priests. As the formidable Roman army advanced on the city in 68 CE, these scholars and officials would have been desperate to save their most sacred and treasured texts from certain destruction. In this scenario, the caves at Qumran served as a geniza, a sacred hiding place for holy writings. This would explain the sheer diversity of the texts found, which include multiple, sometimes conflicting, versions of the same work. It wasn't one community's curated collection, but a desperate, last-ditch effort to create a time capsule of Jewish thought. Whoever they were, Essenes, separatists, or Jerusalem's elite, they left behind a priceless window into a world on the edge of collapse, a final testament of faith against the dying of the light. If you love uncovering ancient mysteries like this one, where forgotten scrolls reveal the secrets of entire civilizations, then make sure to subscribe so you can join us on more journeys through the world's greatest unsolved stories. Now, let's return to the caves to see what secrets they hold. Among the scrolls were texts like the Book of Isaiah, perfectly preserved, and strange writings about a final war of the sons of light against the sons of darkness. They spoke of purification rituals, hidden knowledge, and a coming apocalypse. Some even claim the scrolls might contain early clues about the origins of Christianity, though their meanings are still fiercely debated. For decades, researchers kept many of the scrolls locked away from public view, fueling rumors of suppressed knowledge, secrets that could shake modern faiths or rewrite religious history. Were they simply ancient writings, or did they hide something more? Knowledge too powerful for their time. Even today, translation and interpretation continue, revealing new mysteries with every fragment uncovered. Over 2,000 years later, the Dead Sea Scrolls remain a bridge between the world of the Bible and the world of archaeology. A voice from the desert, reminding us that even the sands of time cannot bury truth forever. Whoever wrote them wanted to be remembered. And in uncovering their words, we may be rediscovering a forgotten chapter of humanity's spiritual past.